Hi everyone, how are we doing? Happy Friday. We've made it. Hey Sinbad. Long week. How about you? All good? So, since last time we've done 2 Windows boxes, let's do a Linux one. I've had my eyes on BackendTwo for a while, so let's start that one and get on with it. It's a Linux medium box. Let's connect to Hack the Box. Oh, nice. I think I could use a vacation as well. Come on, Hack the Box. There we go. We have an IP address. ATN 22. Good to know. Since it's Hack the Box, not sure what I was expecting. This seems to be sort of standard for Hack the Box. Well, we don't see. Well, this tells us it's running Python, and it's not running on a named host. So let's just start burp and see what we can find there. Okay, so it's an UAC API v2. So let's do a directory brute force and start that process. DNS, no, not DNS, web content. And I need the IP address again, which is here. So we have docs and API. While that's running, we can actually have a look at in the browser at docs and see what API does as well. Okay, so we need to be authenticated to view the docs. Anything under API. It returns v1 as an endpoint. Okay, so I think at this point we can switch to burp to make our lives easier and just do it via repeater. And we have user and admin. Let's check user first. Details not found. Admin. Nothing. Temporary redirect to /admin. Not authenticated. Right, so let's do some brute forcing on the user endpoint and see if we have anything there. That's interesting. Let's see what that looks like. Username enumeration to me. But let's check. So if it's a REST API, then the standard practice is to have user/ID/something, some action. So let's do user/1 and see what we get. We actually do get some data there, meaning we can enumerate some users. Let's send that to intruder. And we can add there. We do numbers. Step 1 from 1 to let's do 20 and see what data we get back from the system. So the biggest ID that we have is 11. Okay. But we do see super user. So we have admin, which is a super user. yeah, so I think, and it seems to work with 0 as well. Basically, I think it's converting it to an int. Oh, thank you for the contribution to the challenge. Still a while off, but maybe we can get there. Guys, let's do an enum on the admin endpoint as well. But that gets us that's gonna return unauthenticated, won't it? Yeah, so that seems to only return unauthenticated. What we can do is let's see if we can do some post requests, and for that we can use post. Yeah, method not allowed. We need to filter that one out. Let's do filter words 3. Filter words. No. We need to filter by code. FC 405. Oh, but that's still on a get post. Okay. We don't need that anymore. Let's see what the requests do. There's one thing that we haven't done. We haven't actually, we took the list of endpoints from here as a given. For V1, we just used user and admin. We haven't actually fuzzed that. So let's do that as well, because it seems like user doesn't come back with anything. So it discovered admin. Okay, so we get method not allowed on post. How about patch? Method not allowed. Nothing there. v2? No. Anything under API that we can use? Just v1. Let's do a fuzz on that as well. Yeah, just v1. It's interesting. So there's nothing there. Let's remove that. H. We need content type because it's a content type. JSON and data. We just send in an empty JSON. Okay. FV3. What list am I using? Let me change the list. Let's put it through burp and see the requests. Package. Uh, 127.0.0.1 8080. That's our burp instance. Maybe the filter would actually be wrong. Even if it matches something, I don't like to filter out the words. But we do need a filter. Let's filter back on the code. FC 405. Yeah. But we're not catching all the codes, are we? No, we're not. Sorry about that. So let's remove the proxy so we don't overload our burp. We need to filter out 405 because that's method not allowed, and we need to add in matcher codes. Well, let's do all. MC all. Oh, there we go. That's better. I was expecting to see something like that. So we have a login and a sign up. But because we weren't matching all the codes, we didn't see them. So FOF doesn't by default match on code 422, which is, I think it's unprocessable entity. Right, we at least have a path forward now because we have a sign up there. So let's run those two through burp and see what we can find there. Change request method v1 user login, content type JSON, username, does it require no. Do we need to pass in a body? No. Let's look at the sign up as well. So this one requires an email and a password. Let's try to figure this one out first. Email. Okay, so we can create an account. And now if we do API v1 users, and we had 11 was our latest user. There we go. So we do get our user here. But now let's try to log in. Let's remove content type and go back to the username equals test.test.com and password equals test. No, it still doesn't like it. So we have the accept as that. Why wouldn't it? Can we do that via curl and see? Copy URL. Equals and x HTTP. Okay, so at least that one doesn't. It's now complaining only about the username. Oh, because we have the equal sign there. So for the sign up, we need to send in a JSON, but for the login, it seems like, yep. Okay, so for the login, we just need a normal form, content form. Good to know. So we get an access token. Now, we can take that and paste it in here. And actually, JWT.io. Super user false access token. So what we can do with the token now, we can do a bit more fuzzing to see if we have other endpoints. So under user, we know we are user 12, and we can add in tag h, authorization bearer, and we need to add in the token. And let's see if that gives us, oh. So that's a lot of 404s there. But if we go to here and add temporary redirect, So what? Okay, let's filter out 404 as well. Do we get anything under admin? Results false. Okay. So we used to get unauthenticated for admin, but now we get results false. So let's do admin fuzz. And I need to check the same for get requests. Hey Z-Science, how are you? We are doing BackendTwo from Hack the Box tonight. Okay, that doesn't seem to return anything. Let's do that's too much. FC 404. Right, let's do. We had a docs page that was unauthenticated. It gave us an error for not authenticated, so let's authenticate to that. And for that, we can go to proxy settings. Match and replace, add, request header, auth, there, test, and we add the header there. That's good. Meaning if we now go to docs, there we go. So So let's authorize this with test.test.com test. Let's check what request we got in there. grant type password. Yeah, so it's just doing the normal login request and it got back an access token. Well, we already had an access token anyway. So we can get the open API. We have a profile edit. Yeah, we get the not authorized. We have a get file name here. So we have a get file that requires the payload to be base64. Okay, but then we have a write file. But we're not admin yet, are we? And those are under the admin check. Okay. So we can edit the password. Let's do this in user ID 12. Right, so let's see. We have a put here for profile. Oh, and we have two authorization headers. That doesn't matter. And we need to get, then we need to get the user change request method. So profile is string. Let's test. Can we edit some other fields? Actually, test. Don't want to test the ID because it might break the user. So that didn't work. Last update. Okay, so we can send in other fields as well. And it seems to be, it needs an int there. Can we update this super user to make our username admin? Yes, we can. Which means if we do this, actually we need the other token, or do we need to log in and log back out to regenerate the token? Let's see. Yeah, so we need to generate a new token because the data is in the token as well. Let me just write some notes because we've done quite a bit, and Okay, so now we have a user that's admin. Let's generate a new token. Is that a super user? True. Okay. So we can go to our proxy settings and change that. Okay, and repeater admin. Let's see what we get here. Because we have a file read functionality that we want to look into, don't we? Which is, let's authorize logout test. So file, try it out. File name. Okay, it gives us an internal server error, but it doesn't give us a validation or unauthorized error. So proxy get. Let's remove one of the tokens because we have to. Yeah. Internal server error. Oh. There we go. So we can read files. That's nice. Right. v1 admin file name. But this is to do this every time seems a bit annoying, so let's copy that. Okay, so we need that to be how do we do this? We can do file name equal input. And then put that as we need to base64 encode Python 3 base64 encode URL encode string. Did you guys see that apparently Stack Overflow is going down now with the rise of AI? Apparently the number of visitors has dropped massively. So actually, how do I want to do this? File name, input file name. Okay, so while true, do that. And we do f name here, and we need these two again, but the difference will be if file name equals exit, then break. And then we have here, we want to write this as an output file. Because if I give it Etsy password, I don't want for it to be written as that. So I'm just gonna use fname as write. Actually, it's not text, it's file. So I need JSON. Load text, and then we do d.file. Let's see if this will work, shall we? Exploit. Actually, no, let's go to loot, and we can run it from Python 3 exploit read file. Let's see, pass the ready. Okay. Device like object required, not string. Oof. Okay, so we need to convert it to bytes first. Okay, not a problem. Encode UTF-8. That should give us the bytes that we need. Actually, you know what? Proxies, HTTP. Let's see. 500. Loads instead of load. And we get the file content. Okay. Well, that's useful. So what can we read now? So we have the Etsy password. Let's see what users we have in here. So we have hack the box. And that's the only user. Can we read the home directory of hack the box? Bash RC. Yes, we can. But that doesn't help us in any way unless we can read its SSH key, if it has an SSH key. Let's do authorized keys. Okay, so the file doesn't exist. ID RSA. No. Proc self. Let's see where the actual application lives. So it actually is running under hack the box, It's app main app. Okay. So that gives us where the app is running and what file. So home HTB app.py. Or not. Oh, no, app main. No. Proc self cmd line. Python 3 multiprocessing spawn. Why? Oh, we have an API key here. Home HTB app main.py. That worked. Right, so we've actually managed to get the Thank you for the follow. My brain hurts. Mine hurts as well now. Hey, McLucifer. So we've managed to get the main.py, and now we can actually do some code reviews as well. So we have an API router. Let's try to get that one, because that seems interesting to see what other paths we have and what functionality is there. Home HTB app. What was the path? API v1 API. Okay, and we have another one, endpoints, so we can just copy that and do endpoints. No? API v1 endpoints. And that errors out. Maybe it's a module. So we do endpoints / user.py. Yes. Admin.py. There we go. I really need to fix that script so we get better names. But it does the job for now. Do we really want to use the API to get the user flag, or do we want to get a shell and then get the user flag? I think I want to get a shell and then get the user flag. So we have the file read, which is good, but what about the file write, which is this one? So we need to be able to edit our JWT to get the to add another debug element into the token. Where was that? So we have a settings here, app core config. Wait, how do we get the base path of a file? Python base path. Base name, which should be file. Okay, so OS path. Right, where's our read file function? Because file name. Okay, and there we go. So, which one do we want? We want to get app core config. Let's see if that's config.py. Okay, so the JWT secret is actually the API key, which we already have, because we have that from here. That means we can go to here, type access token subtool, put that as true. I can't allow me to edit it. Okay, never mind. There we go. JWT encoder. True. And what did we need here? Where was it? No, that's the user. Debug. And now we have a new JWT that we can use in our requests. We can send that there. Change this token, and I'll remove the second one actually. And let's just see if this works. It does. Okay. So our token is valid. I'm just taking some notes about what we've discovered around this. And I need to update my script so it's nice and documented properly. So yeah, basically we've managed to use the JWT encoder to create our own token that allows us to, in theory, based on the code review alone, it should allow us to write files as well. So the file name we're getting from there. And then we should have file rights. Where's that one coming from? Because we need a schema for that because we don't know. So app schemas admin. We need to read that as well. Okay, so we need a file, which, let me rename these. And that would be the router. That would be the admin router. User router. That's HTB bash RC. That's CMD line, and that's environ. There we go. So now that we have all of that, admin router. So we still need to send in the file name as a base64 encoded string, and we need let's do a test. So we can send that to repeater again. Let's encode that as being TMP test. Change request method. File equals, and does it require base64? No, it's just a string. Okay, let's see. Does it need application JSON? Does it require JSON? I think so. Yeah. So we need to change that to be a JSON. Oh yeah. Thank you. Would have figured it out eventually. So we basically wrote to TMP test, and now we can read TMP test and see if, actually no, we wrote to core config. No, I might need to reset the box. No, we don't. Phew. Right. So we have we did write to TMP test. But I'm not sure. We need to find a file that when we write to it, it's gonna get either executed or I think I wonder if it has an SSH directory so we can write an SSH key, because I don't see it trying to create the directory. Oh, we can test it. So we can do home HTB .ssh authorized keys, and we can do unknown error. And I'm assuming, yeah, because the SSH directory doesn't exist, it won't actually create it, so we cannot write to it. Which means we need to write to we need to write to a file that will get imported. What's that? Oh no, that's from API. So I'm now trying to find a file that we can write to that won't break the application, but it will still get loaded. So IPsec created the box, which is nice. It's an interesting box up until now. I don't want to mess up with the admin router, because that's our way in, so I don't want to overwrite that in any way. So the other option is to wait, there was another router, wasn't there? What if we create a new router and include it in here? That would be an option, wouldn't it? So let's do shell.py, get the user router, and just do API router. That's fine. We just need one function to do a post. We don't need any data there. No, the response model is not going to be that. Where was that? This one. So, do we have base model included? No, we don't. We import it and we do that as well. Actually, we have there. I need to do that. And replace this one. There we go. File write shell cmd request, cmd request, shell cmd request, and that will contain a cmd, and we need to import OS. And what we're gonna do is, okay, we don't. We're gonna do OS system cmd request dot cmd return empty string. So that would be our router, right? And then we will have to update not that one, this one, the router itself. So let's first upload this file. Field schema. Do we need that? Let's just keep it. But we need to send that as a JSON blob. So we need file write, and we can copy that. File name, we're gonna have shell, and we're gonna need so file name is the one that we want, content. is gonna be, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna use I'm just gonna hard code this for now just to test if it works. There we go, and we're gonna do, instead of a get, we're gonna do a put or post. With file open as read content equals JSON. Okay, we have header, we have proxies, and we have JSON equal JSON. But we need to change the bearer here because that's no longer correct. We need the one with debug as well. There we go. And then the file name, instead of having an input, we're just gonna do, where was it? Yeah, endpoints, and we're gonna do shell. And that in theory should allow us to write that file. Yeah, I don't need that. Print. E. Actually. So now we can, if we write shell.py, so pi, and then we change the router, the main router file to include that as well. But first let's try to write it. So let's open this in another terminal. Let's do exploit Python 3 file write. So that was a success. And now we can double check that with the read. Because we have that in repeater, which is here. Okay. So that file was written successfully, which means we can now do router.py and do shell shell.router prefix shell tags shell, which means now we have a fetch user. That should be okay. Let's test. So we would now need to write the router as well. And that means in file write we do router. And we need to write it in API, I think. Let me just double check. Yes. So we would need to write it to overwrite the API file. Router.py, which is that one. Let's check. Successful. And let's validate that the change was successful as well with a read. No, that didn't work. So it said successful, but it was either reverted or we file write API. Okay, so that does not work. That's not fun. That means we need to overwrite one of the other controllers. I don't want to do that. Okay, let's copy this to user and just do import OS. We have base model and user. No, we don't. There we go. Router post cmd, do cmd command. That goes there. Cmd request cmd. Right. Well, wish me luck. If this doesn't work, then we might need to overwrite to restart the box. That's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily want to do this. But I don't think I have an alternative here. So we're overwriting endpoint user with the content of user.py there. Successful. Proxy post. I want to read and see if that actually that change actually took effect. And no, it did not. Hmm. Can we read that file? Maybe it's I'm barking at the wrong tree here with the file write, because I cannot seem to override the controllers. Home HTB. What's that? So basically I've spent the last, what, hour creating read and write scripts when I could have just read the auth log. Nice rabbit hole. Very nice rabbit hole. Anyway, fun, and that's something that you definitely can expect in OSCP and all the other OffSec certs. There are definitely a lot of rabbit holes there. Right. The box was done by IPSec, so not entirely surprising. What? What's this? Okay. So we need to find the correct word. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna run lean piece anyway. I think we're gonna need to find that dictionary that's being used, but let's see. Okay, let's have a look at how this is configured and where it actually lives. Let's see, is it there? Yes, it is. And it's using does this one exist as well? Okay, so we don't actually have that, which means it might be using a different dictionary from somewhere. Let's do strings. There we go. So does that one exist? Yes, and we can read it. Okay. So we have some words there. Let's okay. Let's go back to our root directory, and we need a password again, which is in auth log. Let's see. Okay, so basically we have 2 letters out of 5. Words, grab ch. No. So O is in the wrong, it's CHO. There we go. Problem solved. That was fun. Any questions? Thank you for the bits, McLucifer. That was an interesting box. I did spend quite a bit of time going down that rabbit hole. Okay, so we have almost 1500 points in the challenge. Well, I'm gonna be streaming again. Yes, I know. It's I did have to set it up as quite a high goal. I don't want to be doing a 24-hour stream every 2 weeks or so, you know. But we do have. Don't worry. If we manage to get the 24-hour one, I will do a 48-hour challenge afterwards as well. I'm up for staying 48 hours. It's not a problem. So, as I said, if you guys want to see me struggle, there we go. We have a way forward. Right. So, any questions about the machine, except for the very annoying attempt at writing files? Actually, let's check. I'm curious now. So my file is here, but yeah, see the API. That's why. No, I should have write access to it as well. Import shell. So okay, so there is a cron job that overrides the files. Yeah, so it's running every minute. Let's see what it does. Okay. So every 20 seconds, it's basically rewriting the application files with the original files. So in theory, we could do that, but we would have to be very quick at how we execute the commands there. We would need to chain them quite quickly for that to run. I'm not even sure if the endpoints would load at some in that case. But anyway, we've managed to find the username and password, so I think that's about it for tonight. It's 11 o'clock. I don't think I'm gonna be doing a second box tonight. However, I will be streaming again on Sunday, so hopefully I'll see you all around. And thanks for watching. Have a nice weekend, and see you all soon. Actually, let's do a raid. Let's see if we can find someone to raid. Not many people streaming hacking content at the moment. Okay, I found. Right, the Shy Hat is streaming, so let's raid him. He does programming and hacking as well, so I've watched some of his streams before. Again, thanks for watching, guys.